Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona, reference 16520. This is an S-Series watch, so 1993, and the timepiece is Zenith powered. More on that in a moment. So in stainless steel, it's 40 millimeters in diameter by 12.9 millimeters thick. Lug to lug, it's 47 millimeters, and it has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears well. Because this is a hollow center link, hollow end link bracelet, it has a vintage feel to it, but it also has a narrower span across the wrist, making this watch more suitable for a smaller wrist than even a modern Daytona of identical dimensions, albeit with a solid end link bracelet. So those pivoted end links mitigate against the size if your wrist is borderline, like between 13 and 13.5 centimeters circumference. It is flat enough to fit underneath the cuff, though it's a solid half millimeter thicker than the later in-house calibers. Now the watch includes a factory bracelet in excellent condition. You can see there's very little Rolex bracelet stretch here. You can see on the underside, this is the 78390, and it features the 503B end links, so it is correct. I'll show you the time stamp, or I should say the date stamp, inside of the clasp. Right there, you can see it is an S code, and the condition of the clasp internally and externally is outstanding. You can see there's still very sharp definition on the stamped links, and then internally you can see condition remains outstanding. There's absolutely no dirt, debris, or scum, as you would expect in a watch of this caliber. A vintage timepiece presented in the best possible and most original condition. It has several divots drilled inside the clasp, so you can actually use your strap tool to change the anchoring point, and of course it does include a clamshell lock. Rolling over the case, you can see things were a little bit different back then. The 1988 redesign of the Daytona was a seminal one, setting most of the conventions that remain to this day in terms of size, style, and specification. But after 1999, these satin-finished lug hoods went away with the in-house calibers. So you always want to compare the break with the polished flank and the hoods of the lugs. So you can see there's a very sharp break there. The lugs are full and symmetrical from side to side and end to end. They present handsomely and intact. We have a trip lock crown, screw down, of course, and the watch is 100 meters water resistant. 400 unit calibrated bezel. Of course, the bezel is in steel. You can see the lacquer inlays within the characters and the numerals remain quite sharp, so this is a well-preserved bezel. The dial is original tritium, and it is dead as a doornail, and I'll prove that. It's a match of hands to dial, as both are tritium and both are absolutely dead. It disappears in seconds. This is original tritium. It is not Fotina, it's the real deal. So white, T-signed, polished chapter rings, a black on white, an attractive and pleasing classical style for these Daytonas. Underneath the case back, though you can't see it, Rolex Caliber 4030, based on the Zenith El Primero Caliber 400. Now the thing about this movement is that it's not simply a drop-in replacement for a Rolex Caliber. This was a heavily modified version of the El Primero. So let's talk about the specs, and then I'll talk about what Rolex changed. So it is a 50-hour power reserve, automatic winding, 5-position adjusted COSC chronometer. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It pivots on 31 joules. It does not have stop seconds. That would be added later on the manufacturer caliber. It features a lateral clutch and a crisp column wheel to operate it, and it has a free sprung balance adjusted in 5 positions with a Breguet overcoil hairspring that helps the watch to keep even time in every position. Now, changes Rolex made. First, it simplified the winding system, which is a mess of springs on the El Primero. Rolex's system is more durable and easier to service. Rolex also replaced the mobile index with a free sprung balance and regulator for greater durability. Rolex adjusted in 5 position and chronometer certified the El Primero. It removed the date. It reduced the beat rate from 36,000 to 28,800 vibrations per hour. Not necessary. The El Primero was durable, but Rolex wanted to make it even more durable. Rolex also replaced the flat hairspring with a handmade Breguet overcoil so that the watch would keep better time in different positions, specifically during the chronometer test. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.